Hello mystery seekers. The Congo rainforest is the second largest tropical forest in the world, covering 700,000 square kilometers in 6 countries, and contains a quarter of the tropical forests that remain in the world. It is also a very hostile place for humans, so it is little explored. The animal life of this jungle is very abundant and varied, with important populations of endangered species and some living fossils, such as okapis, as well as amphibian, reptile and insect species are very numerous and many are still unknown. Pronounced J'ba Fofi according to intonation, the term literally means giant spider in the native language of the region. It refers to a particularly large species of tarantulas whose wingspan, according to legend, is between 1.5 meters and 2 meters from end to end of the legs. These spiders are capable, thanks to their immense size, of hunting all kinds of animals, from lizards and birds to leopards, antelopes, monkeys and crocodiles, passing, according to the testimony of various tribes and some missionaries, for human beings. The spider webs travel through the jungle in the direction of a kind of underground trap so well known in these animals, which consists of a kind of cover that can be opened and closed from the inside, enclosing the unsuspecting victim with the monster. According to testimonies, the venom of the animal is particularly powerful and can end a person's life in minutes, hours, at the most. Sightings of the creature. 2 important sightings of the supposed giant Congo spider are recognized, one in 1890 and one in 1938. Since then all we have is a series of disjointed accounts, regional legends, and sightings by missionaries and natives that they are usually confusing. The first sighting, in 1890, was made by an English gentleman named Arthur Symes, who was exploring the shores of Lake Nyasa in present-day Uganda that year. Several of his men began to become entangled in sticky webs that were attached to the ground, and it was not long when 2 spiders of more than 1 meter in size came out of the dense jungle and bit them. Symes was able to scare them using his weapon, although according to him he said he did not manage to wound any, but his men went into a strong delirium and died within minutes without him being able to do anything to prevent it. The second case, in 1938, occurred when a couple of settlers from Rhodesia, Reginald and Marguerite Lloyd, who were exploring the regions of what was then called the Belgian Congo, encountered a strange creature on the road. They originally thought it was a feline and stopped their vehicle to let it pass, but soon realized that it was not a feline. It is said that the spider crossed too quickly to be photographed, and Mrs. Lloyd would be so impressed with her experience that she would immediately demand that her husband return to her native Rhodesia. But could such a creature exist? Although it may not seem like it, what we know of the animal world strongly indicates that a spider of these titanic dimensions could hardly exist. The reasons are fundamentally 2: the respiratory system and the problem of the exoskeleton. First, there are the lungs. The spiders we know do not have lungs like those of mammals or birds, but rather structures called book lungs that absorb available oxygen less efficiently. Although this is not a problem for a small spider, when it reaches the size of a small cat this already becomes a serious problem since it requires a very high amount of oxygen in the atmosphere. In the Carboniferous, the age of gigantic forests, spiders were barely larger than the size of an average dog today. The problem of the exoskeleton has to do with size. As a spider grows it would require a stronger and stronger exoskeleton, that is, thicker, and the increase in the skeleton would be out of proportion to the total size of the spider. This is the main reason why there are no giant terrestrial arthropods. In the case of crabs, the famous coconut crab is calculated as the largest that could exist. Evolution may be able to solve these problems, either by developing a respiratory system that takes full advantage of the book lungs and creating a more resistant structure from other proteins. Theoretically such a spider could exist. But there is a big difference between saying that it could exist and saying that it truly exists. If it were real, it would be an animal without any kind of close relative. If we want to believe the sightings, this is the only viable hypothesis. A close relative of spiders of great antiquity, the only descendant of their race, and who handles a biology that is unknown to us. It would be a true living fossil from the jungles of the Congo, which has been hidden for millions of years from the rest of the world. It sounds good, but until we have solid evidence, science is sadly opposed to the existence of the mythical giant spider.